Life happens. You plan, you prepare, you work hard, and then bang, something knocks you over, or even knocks you down. A project fails, a relationship ends. The job you wanted goes to somebody else. Your teenager thinks you're an idiot. Sometimes your boss agrees with your teenager. We have all been there. Problems. And I'll be honest, I've been there more than once myself. That's why I wrote Surrounded by Setbacks. I am Thomas Erikson, author of the Surrounded by series, and in the next few minutes I want to share why this book in particular is so close to my heart, and how setbacks, as painful as they are, because they are, might actually be the best thing that ever happened to you. Now, this is not just theory, this is life. Because no matter how successful you look from the outside, nobody gets a free pass. The question isn't, will I face setbacks? The question is, what do I do when they come? And that's what this book is about. As the old business philosopher Jim Rohn once said, it's that kind of planet. Actually, he said it many times, so it must be true. Here's the idea. We tend to think of setbacks and problems as the end of the road, that it's somehow over, but they're not. They're detours, sometimes even shortcuts actually. Setbacks, hold-ups, problems, struggles, mistakes, painful incidents are a part of everybody's life. Yes, you are not alone. It might feel like you are unique in this sense. Don't kill the messenger, you're actually not. The truth is, the people who succeed aren't the ones who avoid or get away from setbacks. Not at all. They are the ones who get used to them, and maybe even use them for their own benefit. Me saying setbacks are a part of life doesn't make them less painful. I understand that. Setbacks shake our confidence. They make us doubt ourselves. They expose weaknesses we would rather ignore. And let's face it, they hurt our pride too. But you know, that pain, that discomfort, it's a signal, it's feedback. It's telling you something needs to change. Quite often, you are the one that have to change. There are different reactions to setbacks. Our reactions actually often follow the same 4 behavior patterns as I wrote about in Surrounded by Idiots, the 4 colors. The reds, they hate losing. A setback feels more like a personal insult. They want to hit back immediately, fix it, win again. Sometimes they actually make it worse by doing so. Yellows tend to laugh it off until they realize the damage is bigger than they thought. Then they distract themselves with something new, of course, and sometimes blame somebody else. Could happen too. Greens also take setbacks personally. They withdraw. They might even give up too soon. They don't have, for example, the stamina a red person has naturally. They can, of course, learn, but it doesn't come naturally. What about the blues? Well, they analyze and analyze and analyze. They're worried. Sometimes so much they get stuck in a setback instead of moving past it. Blues are not action-oriented. None of these reactions are wrong, but if you get stuck in them, you stay down instead of getting back up. When I left home for my first week of military service, as a very young and very naive man at the age of 19, it's a while ago. It was really hard. I wasn't allowed to go home for the whole week. That was the longest time ever I had been away from my family, really. They had us marching all week. My legs hurt, my back hurt, my head hurt, everything hurt. So when the week was over, the first thing I did was to go to my girlfriend's place. She broke up with me the very same day. So I went home. My mother and father informed me they were getting a divorce. My childhood home was to be put up for sale. My father was about to move 1,000 kilometers to the south. My sense of the situation was life cannot get any worse than that. This was pain colossal. And sure, it was a horrible situation. But here is an interesting insight. 40 years later, I seriously actually can laugh at the whole thing. Because this experience prepared me for life in a way I didn't understand then. But I do now. Setbacks can teach us things. I think every setback contains some sort of lesson. Sometimes it's about preparation. Sometimes it's about people. Sometimes it's about yourself. And the most successful people I have met in my life are not the ones who had it easy. No. They are the ones who learned how to use failure and pain as fuel. Because again, we all run into pain. once in a while. There is a practical mindset shift here. I think the trick isn't to avoid setbacks, actually. You can't do that. They will hit you sooner or later. I know it's a depressing thought, but get used to it. The trick is to reframe this. Instead of asking, why me? Why me? Why me? Why now? Ask yourself instead, what now? Instead of seeing this wall, see a signpost. Because when you do, setbacks stop being the enemy. Instead, they become your coach. So, that is Surrounded by Setbacks. A book about resilience, about perspective, about growth. It's my most personal book yet, and honestly, this is my favorite one. Because if there is one thing that I have learned, it is the following. The times I thought I had failed, those were the moments that shaped me the most. And these days I am not at all as naive as I was when I was a young man. The trick is, of course, not to get cynical. There is a fine balance there, I understand that. The book is about how to find that balance and how to continue forward even when it hurts. If this resonated with you, subscribe, leave a comment about a setback that taught you something important, and check out my other videos if you like in the Surrounded by series. You find them here on YouTube. And remember, you cannot change somebody else, but you can change yourself. And that includes how you face your setbacks, because in the end, every failure is just a step on the way to something better.